it's Jessica Weaver, founder of The Wealth Boutique, a female-focused financial firm, and also founder of Pinkfix Productions, which produces all of this magical stuff behind me. Well, I thought it would be really fun to jump on here live to talk about a new trend that we are seeing where millennial women are asking and demanding for prenups for their spouses to sign before the marriage. Now, why the heck is this happening? Women more than ever are entering a marriage with wealth, with money, with sizable assets. It might just be their own house that they bought prior to their relationship, sizable 401ks. There's a lot that goes into it. So they are asking for prenups. We see it a lot happening too with second marriages. As people with assets from separate marriages got divorced, now they're coming together and they have all this money, they have real estate, they have maybe businesses as well, and they want to protect those assets. And what a prenup does is it just defines what is going to be separate property, what is marital property. Because once you become married and you start to commingle assets, and it could be as simple as you bought the house, he's helping pay the mortgage, it's now becoming marital property. You have an old 401k that you contributed to prior to the marriage. You get married and you continue to contribute to that 401k. It's now starting to become marital property. So let's define what is separate property, what is marital property. Now we all know Taylor Swift. She's got some money. She's got some bank. About $1.6 billion is her net worth. Travis Kelce, he's got some money too. His net worth is around $70 million. But what makes this really tricky is they both have intellectual property. Obviously, Taylor Swift she has all of her songs. She has all of this content that she has created. It is her real estate. He also has intellectual property through his podcast that he hosts with his brother. And then he has his NFL contracts, endorsements, and then he had a great deal for his podcasts as well. So he has sizable assets, not near the empire T Swift has been building along the way. Royalties is another really tricky one too. Let's say she creates a song while they are married and now she gets royalties for that for life. Well, he can claim that. So it's not just protecting the assets, but it's protecting what she has created, which at this point to her is probably worth more than the money. It's having that property that will always be hers and he doesn't get a piece of it if they were to split. So there's this huge generational shift happening where women are entering marriages with money more than ever. And what I see happening is if Taylor Swift does ask for a prenup, which I'm sure she will because she's a smart girl, and that's going to really set the standard for more women, younger women, asking for a prenup. And it's great because it's just, again, it's acknowledging what is separate property versus marital property. Let's draw a line in the sand so that everybody is aware. And it's going to save them so much money in attorney fees if something were to happen and they were to break up. So let's define the assets, the property, real estate, stocks, bond, all of that. Let's also, the royalties, and then the intellectual property. Those are the three main buckets that they really need to define through this prenup. Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm a wealth advisor. I'm also a certified divorce financial analyst. So we see this on the divorce side a lot. And for women to proactively prepare for these things is really going to allow them to enter the marriage with some peace of mind, knowing that they are financially safe and secure no matter what happens. The other big question is that engagement ring. Gorgeous. $550,000, which blows my mind because my first house, that's what we paid for my first house, $550,000. And it's just a ring. Who keeps the ring if they were to break up? Well, this is going to be based on state law. There are no-fault states, and then there are fault states. Well, they got engaged in Missouri, and that happens to be a fault state. So let's say they break up before getting married. Who keeps the ring? $550,000. That's like a few dollars to us, common folk, to Taylor Swift. But just for kicks and giggles, let's see. Well, because Missouri is a fault state, it will be based on who is at fault for the breakup. So let's say somebody cheats. well, they would be at fault and the other person would be able to keep the ring. So if Travis cheats, I'm not saying this is happening, but if he does, she keeps the ring. If she cheats, Travis keeps the ring. Or anything like that. If there's lies, they felt like they were lied to, they were stolen, right? Any of that, that would define who was at fault for the breakup. If they mutually were to break up, typically what happens is the person who gifted the ring would keep the ring. Flip side, they're divorced. They do get married, and then down the road, they get divorced. Who keeps the ring? Most of the time, the person who was gifted the ring, so that would be Taylor Swift in this case, would keep the ring. Now, sometimes, like, why would I even want to keep the ring? Well, I've seen a lot of our clients who, when they've kept the ring, they sell it and use that money to start their new life. Not that Taylor Swift would need the $550,000 measly dollars, but in your case, that would be a way to have a down payment for a house or a car, or to tackle your attorney fees, things like that too. Or you can always recreate these divorce diamonds into something spectacular to show off in your new life, your new chapter. So, should Taylor Swift get a prenup? Yes, you have to protect your assets, your intellectual property, and those royalties that she gets. Same for Travis. This allows him to protect his own assets. So they could both be signing a prenup that allows them to define whose assets are who's going into the marriage, what assets that are created during the marriage will be marital assets versus separate ones. And it just makes it so much smoother and gives you a lot of peace of mind going into it. If you're a woman business owner, if you're a female advisor, you have to think about these things too. You need to protect your assets going into a marriage, in a marriage, and then afterwards as well. So you have, like I have, a lot of intellectual property through our books, our TV shows, social media, things like that. Our show becoming a syndicated show that will allow, in a sense, similar to royalties, right? Money's going to come back in from women behind the millions. Those are things to protect when you are thinking about getting married. It is a business transaction, a business deal, and you want to protect yourself. So, yes, I do hope she gets a prenup. We will be monitoring the situation very closely to keep you all up to date for it as well. But it is a new trend that we see with more and more millennial women asking for a prenup because you got money, ladies. And we are here to help you grow, but also protect that money in a good way. So if you're dating somebody and you own a property, don't allow them to talk you into selling it and renting with them. That's your asset. You don't want to just sell it and then commingle. Let's keep that asset. Maybe, if an attorney says so, put it into a trust. There are different things that you can do to protect it as well. So tomorrow night, another episode of Women Behind the Millions as we dive into more of our female financial trendsetters. So 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Women Behind the Millions. I'll see you there.